everybody. Today I'm going to be discussing how you can change your own oil in the Toyota Highlander 2002 1MZ-FE V6 engine. Now this engine was produced by Toyota between the year 2000 and 2007. It's one of the best designs that Toyota ever produced. Absolutely bulletproof. If you maintain this engine and change the oil at least every 5,000 miles or every 6 months, whichever comes first, this engine will easily go 250 to 300,000 miles plus. Absolutely great design. The reason I picked this engine is because I can change the oil on this without having to use a floor jack or ramps to get the engine up to get to the oil filter. That's a big deal because I have had cars in the past where the only way you can access the oil filter is either on a ramp or a floor jack. Don't have to have it on this car. This is a dual overhead cam engine design, meaning that you have a chain here, you have a chain over here, which drives a forward set of camshafts here and here, a rear set of camshafts here and here, intake and then exhaust. I forgot which way, maybe it's the other way around. Here you have a series of oil galleys which provide hydraulic pressure. You have a regulator switch over here which actuates the valve timing. In other words, as the RPMs increase, the valve timing increases. A great design. What they had with this engine at one time when it first came out was a problem with oil sludging. And what that was all about was that people were simply not changing their oil when they should have on time. Also, the valve cover design on this engine right here needed to be redesigned so the oil flow could be more effective, and that was taken care of the next year. In order to do this job, very simple procedure. All you need is 5 quarts of a premium, I happen to use synthetic oil, I think it's the best. You will need a premium oil filter, and you will need a socket wrench with a 15mm head. You also need a drop cloth to go underneath. What I do for the waste oil, I keep a couple of gallon cans around and take it back to AutoZone. They will take the oil for free. No problem with that. So what I'll do now is get underneath the engine. I'll show you where the oil drain plug is. I'll show you where the oil filter is. Just a couple more things before we get started. Before you change your oil, get the oil hot. Run the car for probably 5 or 10 minutes to get the oil hot because it drains out easier when the oil's hot. Also, the oil filter, sometimes people over tighten them. Do not over tighten these oil filters. In case it is, there's a tool that's provided here. This goes on your socket wrench right here, fits onto the oil filter, and then you can get the oil filter out. Matter of fact, you can see it, I think, yeah, right down there. There it is, between the exhaust manifold. It's right there. So in case it is stuck and jammed on, you use this tool to get it off. It's very, very self-explanatory. Also, before you drain the oil, take this out, the cap. In order to drain the oil, you would need a proper receptacle. This one here I got at the AutoZone. It has a cap here, comes on, and then it has a secondary cap over here, which goes into your funnel to drain the oil to take it back to AutoZone for recycling. Okay, underneath the engine here, you have right here is your automatic transmission drain. do not touch that one unless you plan on servicing your automatic transmission by yourself. The oil pan is right here. You have your drain plug right here, which I've already taken out. This one right here goes right here. It's a 15mm socket. What I do is let the oil drain for a minimum of 30 minutes. The reason for that is you got a lot of oil up inside of the engine, which takes time to drain out. Now the oil filter on the 1MZ-FE engine sits right up here at the front of the engine, and a very convenient location. Don't have to put it on ramps, don't have to put it on a floor jack to get to it. By the way, as long as I'm filming underneath of the engine here, this flex pipe on the header right here has a common problem with leaking. Leaks right through here. Now this has been replaced, so I assume that in the other variations of the 1MZ-FE engine that was modified. I'm going to replace the engine drain plug now. This plug has a crush washer on it, so it's imperative not to over tighten this. Now, Toyota has torque specifications on this plug, which is 33 foot-pounds. If you have a torque wrench, use it. I have been changing oil in cars for 50 years, so I know the exact amount of pressure without having to use a torque wrench. Now I'm going to take off the oil filter. You will see a certain amount of oil dripping down, which is normal. It's coming off the filter. Take a cloth and clean that right up. There we go. Let that oil drain into the pan. You get quite a lot of oil inside of that filter. Take a little oil and coat the gasket and the filter before you put it back on. Otherwise it will leak. Now, replacing these oil filters, it's a spin-on type. It's imperative that the threads not be cross-threaded on this. If you cross-thread this oil filter post, you're going to have big problems. Again, do not over tighten, hand tighten only. That should do it, should not leak. These engines tend to accept oil very slowly. The best design that I've seen for a funnel is this one right here. Okay, there's the fifth and final quart. Of course, normally I'd be holding this steady. I wouldn't just let it dangle like that. That's the fifth and final quart. Of course, after you do this, replace the cap. And then we're going to start it up and check for leaks. No leaks. Everything's tight, and have a great day.